everything that is wrong because of the agitation, and they'll lose all hope. I think that's the logic behind it.
I'm just asking a question. I get you though. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Continue with whatever thought you were having. If that thought. You know what I thought was one of the most powerful paragraphs of the whole entire book? Is the last paragraph on 196.
Okay.
Like, I just feel like, should we read it out loud or no?
Go for it.
Yeah, go ahead.
The great American dream that reached out to the stars has been lost to the stripes. We have forgotten where we came from. We don't know where we are, and we fear where we may be going. Afraid we turn from the glorious adventure of the pursuit of happiness to a pursuit of an illusionary security in an ordered, stratified, striped society. Our way of life is symbolized to the world by the stripes of military force. At home we have made a mockery of being our brother's keeper by being his jail keeper. When Americans can no longer see the stars, the times are tragic. We must believe that it is the darkness before the dawn of a beautiful new world. We will see it when we believe it. I don't know, I kind of just like, it just made me think about how we need change, like.
Yeah, how people think, the way people think about the world needs to be changed, in a sense. Certain things need to be brought to light, because I feel like a lot of the people kind of just ignore what's going on, or they just don't realize that it's happening.
What was going on whenever this book was written? Like, what, it was published in what, 1971?
Yeah, so like Vietnam.
Okay, because the way he describes America in this thing is just so like dim and dark, and then he specifically ties into the military. Like, life is just military, and that would make sense since people were going off in the war and fighting. And
Well, and think about the diction that he's using. He's saying like striped and all that, striped and military, very organized establishments, and all, very very oppressive establishments at that. In the military, when you're thinking about like guns and everything, and you're taking over.
Mm-hmm. Very aggressive.
Right, very aggressive. And he's saying that that's just our world now, and that's not what the American dream was about.
yeah,
The American dream is like the land of opportunity, the land of freedom, and things like that. And we've lost that. We've lost that element that's written not only in the Declaration of Independence but also in the Constitution.
Yeah, and he talks about, at home we have made a mockery of being our brother's keeper by being his jail keeper. So like, basically that society is just like become this not criminal, but just I don't know what word I'm searching for. It's like,
It's like oppressive.
I guess it's not oppressive, but like, instead of helping one another,
Mm-hmm.
you're just kind of letting, like, okay, being a brother's keeper, like when I think of being my brother's keeper, it's like you're trying to help your brother stay out of trouble. But
Right.
he says you're making a mockery by being your brother's jail keeper. Well, your brother's already gotten into trouble. You didn't do anything for him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So in that case, like what we're doing for ourselves, we're not doing anything for ourselves. We're just letting it happen and letting it get to a point where all we can do is just kind of monitor. Do you know what I mean? You can't prevent anything from occurring, and you can't change it.
yeah.
That's kind of what I took out of that little line.
I just like the first sentence because it's like the American flag, stars and stripes, but it's like reaching for the stars, like, you know, reach for the stars. You have so many possibilities.
Well, I think
It's just
it
really
hits on like
clever to me.
patriotism and nationalism, how it's so intense, but at the same time, it can lead us to like just blurring out what the real world is at, what's really going
Like
on.
blind faith.
Yeah.
But he's also very optimistic. Like, it kind of makes it sound like we can get out of the dark stage.
Well, I mean, that kind of he believes that everyone should feel that way, because if you don't have hope, then you wouldn't be fighting for anything.
Well, and imagine what that would do for the book. I mean, he teaches you everything and all this. He starts talking about this, and at the end, can you imagine say, "Well, really, there's no hope."
There's no hope for us.
I kind of just lied to you.
Do you think we're in a bad state of times right now as an American? Like, do you think we are the darkness? We're in the darkness right now, and there's a dawn ahead.
I think there's always darkness.
Yeah, I think there always will be darkness.
I think even if it's just a certain group or a larger group, I think there's always darkness about what's actually going on, because there's always people who are trying to keep you in the dark.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I think the establishment. I don't know. Do you think the establishment will always be there, like an oppressive establishment?
As a government.
I'm kind of afraid of like what our establishment is gonna get to, because I feel like the United States used to be on such a high pedestal, and we're just kind of falling down, and I'm like, will I be around when it's like really, really falling down? How's that gonna be? Like, I'm actually kind of scared, because I've never realized we had so many
issues class. Yeah.
injustices, just oppressive nature of wow, I've never realized that.
But is there any different? Is there any other society that's doing it different and getting it right?
I wouldn't know. I don't live in those.
Yeah,
You know, it's hard
really
for me
hard.
to say.
Well, I mean, we don't want to talk about our flaws. I mean,
and
surely,
no
like,
no other country's gonna talk about their flaws the way.
I mean,
Yeah.
look at. I mean, we just got done with immigration, and I'm thinking about Mexico. Look at the way that Mexican immigrants paint a portrait of how the United States is. I mean, they think we're free and everything, and I mean, really, we're dealing with the same issues that possibly they're dealing with.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
Different, maybe on a different scale,
right,
but
different
same.
degrees and all that.
I've actually tried to explain that to a family member who lives in Mexico, because they would expect us to go every weekend and take things, and this. I'm like, yes, we may live in America, but we don't have a lot of money. We may live in the United States, but we're not rich just because we live there.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, we don't have money to spend all the time, and it's like they didn't understand the concept, because well, you live in the United States, you should have blah blah blah. But just because we have the opportunity to have doesn't mean we have.
Then again, that brings about like different standards that other countries have. I mean,
Yeah.
Like
What are their priorities?
right. I mean, to me, it seems like we have very high standards, especially today. And so, like, I'm curious. That's like maybe like what Mexico standards are, Mexican standards are.
Yeah.
This is just sad. Like, all these books have just made me realize we're never going to be, and it seems like we're never going to be perfect. We're never going to be happy. We're always going to be wanting more.
And that's why you're not an organizer, because an organizer would constantly be thinking of like what to why, and there's he explains that an organizer never answers the question. He just finds more questions. And to me, I wouldn't be able to do that. I'm just like
It's just so depressing.
it's so overwhelming how many things there really are that you have
You
to
change.
And I was thinking of like the United States as the land of opportunity. That's all it is opportunity.
Right.
You can't really do anything. You have the opportunity to do so, but it's like, what else do you have?
Well, I mean, it's like the phrase "pursuit of happiness." It's the
Just
pursuit,
the
of
pursuit.
but not the actual
Not-
thing to it. Yeah.
That's insane. They didn't lie to you, but
Right.
you know, they didn't lie to you about that.
I just find it depressing.
I mean, and certain.
Doesn't it just make you sad that we just learned how like screwed up our world is, or America is, and how much we need?
It did
done,
lift a veil.
and
It
how,
did lift a veil
and how
for me.
things are never ever gonna like. We're never gonna reach ideal.
Nothing ever reaches ideal
See,
status.
I kind of had like a general idea as to all the issues we had, but I don't know. They just let me see it in a new light and how we could deal with them, and how difficult it is to deal with them. Like, I mean, the issues will always be there, but like actually trying to fix them, I think that's really difficult. That's even more difficult than the issues themselves.
I just think, yeah, I guess, because I think it's hard bringing in everyone's perspective, because everyone has a different idea of how things should be.
Yeah.
But I think that's also what makes America so great, is like, we're allowed to have our different ideas.
I mean, everyone has different ideas. It's just how can you put them together to make everyone happy? And you'll never be able to make everyone happy. So there's always going to be someone who's, upset about the decision that was made, and someone shares that idea with someone else, and then other people become unhappy. And a lot of ideas are not based on rational thought. So you can get a lot of people to agree to an irrational thought about a topic. So it's like,
So there's always going to be a necessity for organizers and leaders.
yeah, especially in a chaotic, imperfect world. I just like to pretend that stuff doesn't happen.
I'm just so glad I'm not an organizer or a leader. That's a lot of pressure.
That is a lot, and that's why there's not many, I think.
But I think that we I don't want to say unique opportunity, but I think that one of the issues that we have to face is that we don't feel like we're having to deal with this. Like right now, where